What if I told you that in just 1 year you can completely transform your life and set yourself up for success by 2025? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can rebrand your life step by step so that you can become the best version of yourself in 2025. This isn't some bullshit guide or case. I want you guys to actually stick around because I'm sharing some success stories and giving you guys an actual game plan that you can follow. Let's dive straight in. The first step to rebranding your life is something that most people ignore, but it's arguably one of the most important things that you need to do. And that, of course, is, before I get into that, I need to introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, and if you're new to the channel, my name is Sabelo Mushesh. I'm 22 years old, and I'm currently an international student at the University of Leeds. For the past year, I've been doing sales, and I'm hoping to use those skills into software development and hopefully building SaaS products later down the line. But more on that later. So the first step is to, of course, redefine your identity. I want you guys to think about it this way. The way you see yourself influences every single decision that you make, right? So think about it this way. If you are someone who constantly sees yourself as a procrastinator or someone who's lacking a bit of discipline, right? You're going to stay stuck in that mindset for a very long time. And the longer you stay stuck in that mindset, the harder it is going to be for you to actually make a change in your life. So for the very first exercise, what I want you guys to do is just to grab a notepad or grab your device, anything that you use to take down notes. And the very first thing that I want you to do is to write down who it is exactly that you want to become. Keep in mind, I'm not referring to your job title here, but rather the kind of person that you want to become. So for example, people will say vague statements like, I want to lose weight. But instead, what I want you to do is to be more specific and say things like, I want to be a person who prioritizes their health and fitness. And doing this is going to reprogram your subconscious mind to start thinking about your goals in a much more strategic way. So for example, I think it was a year ago when I started doing this exercise with my mentor. I told him that I want to start seeing myself differently. I want to stop seeing myself as a student or an employee, right? I want to become an entrepreneur and adopt that mindset. So he said, you need to be more specific on what you want. And in doing so, the statement that I ended up coming up with was that I wanted to be a highly skilled individual and ultimately a problem solver. And in doing so, I started adopting character traits that I would read about from successful entrepreneurs or just from stuff that I've observed from other entrepreneurs who have succeeded in the space. But you see, redefining yourself is just the beginning. Once you've nailed that, it's time to take action on something that scares most people. And that, of course, is changing your environment. Yeah, I know this one's going to make people very uncomfortable, but I was in the same position, right? Changing your environment is very scary. But think about it this way. If you are surrounded by negativity and distractions, it's nearly impossible to grow. So I want you guys to look at your physical space, right? Even your digital habits or something as simple as the relationships you have. You need to ask yourself, what needs to change? And in doing so, you can be more honest with yourself, and maybe it's something as simple as decluttering your room or, in fact, getting rid of vices that you know are bad for you. For my guys out there, true story, I know a lot of guys who struggle with the corn. The corn addiction is a really, really serious problem. Just lust in general, it can really distract us from our purpose. And in fact, desexualizing your brain is probably one of the best things that you can do, especially at a very young age. Speak to someone. If this is something that you actually struggle with, speak to someone. Or if it's another issue that you have, perhaps with your device, you have an addiction to the dopamine releases that you get, just have an accountability partner, because trying to do everything alone is extremely difficult. And quite frankly, it's unnecessary. If you're trying to reach success a lot faster, it's so much easier if you have an accountability partner, because this is a person that can check up on you in times when you're alone, in times when you need that support, and in times where you don't have the strength to defeat this thing on your own, right? It's very important to have someone to just tap your shoulder to say, look, dude, everything is going to be okay. Or someone to just remind you about your purpose. It's very important to establish these things very early on in your journey. And with that being said, your environment is like soil for your growth. But the thing is, even with the right environment, you still need the right tools and habits to succeed properly. I think it was when I was watching Creed 2, Sylvester Stallone had a quote, something along the lines of like, if you want to change things in a big way, then you need to make some big changes. A powerful quote, like when you watch the movie. But it reminded me that big changes come from small, consistent habits, right? And that habits are the building blocks for your future self. And the key here, I know you heard it 100 times, but it's just to honestly start small. When I was trying to build up my cardiovascular health and just build my endurance, especially like in the gym and my performance, I started doing the Stairmaster quite regularly, but I really struggled in the beginning. So I would go for 10 minutes initially, then I would increase it to 20 minutes, and then from 20 minutes to 25, from 25 to 30, 30 to 35. I haven't gotten past 35, but 35 is a point where you're burning a lot of fat and you're building a lot of muscle in your legs. But I couldn't have started off that way if I just tried to do half an hour the first time around. I had to build that slowly over time, and as a result, I've been able to, keep fairly lean and also build muscle at the same time. But I had to start off very small and build that consistently over time. And another habit that I also picked up was actually reading. I don't know if you guys are big readers. I was never a big reader in high school, but like lately I have been trying to just get through at least a book every 2 weeks. I tried a book a week, but it was kind of difficult. At the moment I'm reading Investing, The Last Liberal Art, and this is my 4th time now finishing this book, The Art of War by Sun Tzu. And the reason I do this is because I understand that there's information out there from experts and from people who've, had massive amounts of success in their lives. Why not just learn from them? I can pay £15 and just learn from them and save myself years of heartache, I don't know if heartache is a word, years of hardship. I can save years of hardship just by reading an extract from a book. So I would try and highly, encourage you guys to at least try and read a book every 2 weeks, a book a month. Just try and get into that habit, and I promise you're going to learn a thing or two. And remember how early I was speaking about having an accountability partner. I understand that some people are not comfortable sharing their issues with other people. I certainly was that person as well. So in that case, if you're not comfortable telling someone else and you want to keep yourself accountable, what I would suggest for you guys to do is to actually download an application called Notion. And when you download Notion, you can install a habit tracker. Now that you've redefined your identity, you've edited your environment, and you've built habits that propel you to the next level, there's one more piece of the puzzle that you guys are missing, and that's to set a bold vision for 2025. Look, the story goes the same, right? It's December time, it's halfway through December, it's the festive season, we're going home, we're spending time with family, we get comfortable, and as soon as New Year's hits, we all say the same thing. This year is going to be my year. This year is going to be my year. Fast forward 6 months, you look back, you forget about half the goals that you've set for yourself, and then come to find it's the end of the year and you still haven't achieved those goals. And it's just an endless cycle of you telling yourself, this is going to be my year, this is going to be my year. But not this time. This time we're going to do this very strategically. And in being strategic, we need to build momentum. And the only way to build momentum is to do things very consistently to build our confidence, right? So there are 2 techniques that I actually did this year and that I've been doing for the past 6 months. The first one, of course, is time blocking, and the second one is the Eisenhower matrix. Let me show you. So the Eisenhower matrix is a task management tool that helps you organize and prioritize your tasks, both by urgency and importance. So using this tool, you can at least drive more focus on the tasks that you need to do, and you can drive more focus on the 4 boxes based on the task that you'll do first, the task that you'll schedule later for the day, and the task that you'll delegate, and the task that you're going to delete. So this is something that I did early in January, and it's worked for me tremendously. So if something isn't important, I'm not in the position to delegate right now, but I would put it in the delegation zone, and then at a later stage, if I've got enough money, I can delegate that task. Something as simple as editing my own videos, I can buy back 4 hours of my time just by delegating this task to a video editor. Something as simple as this is a huge productivity hack. And the second productivity hack is, of course, time blocking, or what we call time boxing. And that's just simply setting a fixed amount of time for a given task. And at least in this way, you don't end up with blocks of time in your calendar, which leaves, room for wondering like what you should do or for how long you should do work on any given task. What I like about this is that you can actually catch yourself out, because you can set time blocks and actually see which times in the day, like, do you scroll on your phone, or like you're not really doing any type of work. And in doing so, you can fill these time blocks with more productive tasks, or even resting periods to at least give yourself a break. But don't use that period to just doom scroll on social media and just be unproductive. So use this time very wisely and very strategically as well. So those are just 2 of the many productivity hacks that I use, right? They've been the most effective for me in 2024. I'm going to be doing the same thing in 2025. So I do believe in setting a big vision for yourself, but I also believe in being very strategic on how exactly you're going to do that. So hopefully using those 2 productivity templates, you can be more strategic on how exactly you delegate your tasks, where exactly you should be prioritizing your time allocation. It's simple things like that that can build your confidence over like a long period of time. And in 2025 especially, if you don't want it to just be another year that goes by wasted, you need to be very strategic on how exactly you're going to tackle your goals. So I'll share more productivity hacks for you guys, but use those 2 in the beginning to build momentum, and I promise you'll build confidence over time. And I'll end off by saying that, of course, rebranding your life doesn't happen overnight. Okay, we're not stupid. We know that this sort of stuff takes time. It takes practice, and it takes building a lot of momentum, but at least build that momentum from the 1st of January or even before that, so at least you can enter 2025 in a much positive way. So if you are someone who's actually looking to at least sort of find ways of making money online, if that's a goal of yours for 2025, I've got a video that I'll link somewhere up here about the best book that I've read about making money online. And remember that your future self is watching you, so just make sure you make the right decisions moving forward. Enjoy the rest of the year, and I hope to see you guys soon.